When did you start writing movies?
I was in acting school and I was feeling just a little like I wasn't quite connecting to any material. I felt like there was more in me that was maybe even outside of acting. And so I just started writing. I had a friend who was writing. He recommended that I download Celtics, CELTX. It was free at the time. I'm not sure if it still is. But I was like, oh, excellent. So I, went home and I started just drafting up pretty much the worst stories we will ever read today. They were not that good. They were very boilerplate. They were very cliche and full of just regular common tropes, which is totally fine because that's good. You want to like start with that and run with just whatever's speaking to you. And so that's what I did. I started writing. That must have been, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago now. And really have been writing ever since. I really have always loved writing. Screenwriting was new for me, but I used to try and write, in standard like novel format all the time because I love telling stories. Like I hope one day to be a master storyteller, and that would be my greatest gift, to be able to create stories that, they reach out through time and space to people and maybe can inspire or excite and draw emotion and touch people, from around the world. And I really hope to just become a better and better storyteller as I keep writing.
So you're taking this acting class. It's LA based?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, yeah.
LA based acting class. And you were going back and writing, and you said you were writing these very common tropes.
I was, yeah.
What were they?
Well, I mean, it was really even the entire storyline was just very cliche. So I would say I can give you one of them. It was this couple who are in an Uber share and they fall in love, but the guy doesn't like her and she does not like him. But then she somehow some property, gets swapped between them and they have to meet and they realize that they do have some things in common. Twist. And then they fall in love. And I had this whole scene that I wrote where he's like running down Sunset to like catch the Uber that she just got in. I mean, I'm sure in some world that's actually a good script, like in the hands of, Aaron Sorkin. I'm sure it could be he could take that, what I just announced to everybody and say, okay, I'll run with this as a freaking challenge and make something great out of it. As a burgeoning writer, I did not run with it in a very advanced way. It was very like boilerplate.
And so did you feel it was boilerplate or did other people give you feedback on it?
That was one where nobody really read my work then, but you kind of read your work a little bit later and you're like, oh, why did I do this? This is just so, you see it a lot. You see it often. And furthermore, with my writing, I'm always a little bit harsh on myself, as I think everyone really should be, especially if you intend to be the one putting it in production or if you're going to pound the pavement and try and sell your script. Be honest with yourself. Is this a good piece of work? Are you ready to pound the pavement and try and sell this script? Or are you yourself committed to finding financing, assembling a crew, putting this into production? Like, are you going to make it? And if you are, let's start from a really solid foundation with this script. Everything is built off of the script. So that's why I'm a little bit harsher with my critique of my scripts, because I'm on the other side of that looking glass. I know exactly how much work goes into it, how much effort, time, money. And that stuff is not, like, time is priceless. You can never get that back. So you really need to be building from an extraordinarily strong foundation with the script.
How do you know you have a good movie idea?
It's a great question. I think everyone wishes they knew the answer. I don't know if you can ever know it, but I know that you can feel that. We all know that feeling, that nugget of excitement inside of your chest, and you see it clearly and you're going, absolutely, absolutely, I can feel it. Now, that's more intangible. That's me just talking about passion and inspiration. But if you are looking for, maybe you're building a marketing deck or something like that, and you need to like show financials, like facts that this is a good idea, I think the best thing you can do is look for comps, look for comparable films and budgets and try and figure out, okay, this is slightly similar to what I'm creating. Did they have a really clearly defined marketing strategy? Is it clearly articulated to the end viewer what it is that I'm telling? If the tone is muddled, your characters aren't defined, you might want to go back and like start, fine-tuning that. But if you can really, you see your characters so clearly, you see exactly what the tone is going to be, then you're in a good place. You can keep going. You can keep greenlighting yourself to the next chapter of your process. Yeah.
Are there other ways that you test your ideas?
For something I like to do, especially if you're maybe at a delicate stage of your story where it's not quite ready for peer feedback, something I like to do is walk away from the script for a little period of time, maybe even like a month, or if you need to, a few months, because you have no idea the clarity that you'll get. It's like hitting the reset button. And then when you go back to that script, you're reading through it, you get to see with really fresh eyes, like, okay, this is pretty great. or okay, this needs a little bit of work, but I see what I did here and I see what I did here. Let's just tighten up these bits and then this is good to go. So that's one of my little kind of obvious tricks to do. Just walk away from your project, really let your brain reset, watch different genres of film, read different genres of books, or whatever, and then go back to whatever it is you wrote and try and look at it with the freshest eyes possible.
What's a film that's out there that you wish so much you'd written it? Like the dialogue is so perfect, or even the lack of dialogue, just the show don't tell?
Okay. This is going to sound... So we recently rewatched The Matrix. I was on a high after watching that movie. It is the best movie ever. The script is so tight. The characters, you're like... And of course, then there was the foreshadowing in this scene, and then of course he's going to do this, and this is, and I mean, I still cry and like get the chills when the helicopter scene and Morpheus is there. Oh my gosh, I was on cloud nine. I wanted to write like a million scripts after I rewatched that movie, which I know is a really popular movie, so everyone's probably like, yeah, duh, it's a great movie. But that type of film inspires me for days. And that's really like, that gives me the boost too to create every damn day, because I watch something like that and I think that started out as just someone's idea. The Wachowskis, I don't know, but they're Wachowskis. One of them said to the other one, hey, how about this? And then just from them kicking the idea back and forth, it became what it is today, like this incredible film that changed a lot of people's lives. And definitely I remember like getting it on VHS and just popping, once the VHS popped out of the TV, popping it right back in, rewind, and watching that again. I love that film. Okay.
This is off topic a little bit, but I was at a store and somebody's like, oh, they can help you. And they're like, Neo, can you help her?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, I bet you their mom and dad, he was young enough to be that age, I bet you that's what happened.
Yeah. He's the one. He's the one to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And he was very helpful, by the way.
And he was like, well, he's the one.
Victoria, how protective are you with your movie ideas?
Fantastic question. So I'm going to share a story in a moment. I used to write my ideas, and then Aaron is obviously my partner in all of our writing and production processes. And I would tell him, and then maybe later that day we'd be on a walk and he would just be chatting. We're walking around Los Angeles somewhere and he's chatting and he's like talking about the storyline. And I'm going, shh, shh, shh. There are actors and writers everywhere and producers, shh, like our idea. And he was the one who told me, like, listen, yes, it is absolutely possible that someone can steal your idea. But first of all, no idea is new. Like every idea is, kind of like coming from something else. And have confidence in your ability to create it. Because even when we make that idea, or if we ever make that idea, it will have our stamp on it. It'll have our style on it. And if someone else can come by and take that idea and somehow make it better than what we were going to do, then good. Because ultimately I want the best story out there. I mean, I'm not telling anyone to steal my ideas, please don't. But if someone does come up with a better version of it, I'm all for it. And so that's a few years ago, we came up with the idea for, have you seen the movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn? No. Okay, so we came up with that idea however many years ago. And I loved it. I loved the idea. I was like, okay, we've got this serial killer and he's locked away in this jail. And there's this school field trip where all these high school kids come and maybe there's some earring that the one girl's wearing. It's very much Freaky Friday meets, but instead of the mom and the daughter, it's a serial killer swaps bodies with a teenage girl. And that was the idea we had come up with years ago. That's the exact synopsis of Freaky, and it's it was just released. I think there was a producer from the Blumhouse team who made it, and it's starring Vince Vaughn. And I watched it, and when I saw it released, some giant part of my heart was like, oh, that was our amazing idea. And it was one of our tentpole ideas because we didn't have millions of dollars to put that in production. So it had to sit in the library of treatments. So there's some part of my heart was like, oh, no, I love that idea. I was just waiting to make it. But then this other huge part of me that's very realistic is of course someone else came up with that idea, and I'm so glad that they made it, and I think it was a really fun movie. I think that perhaps a few of my details might have improved it. No, I'm just kidding. But I think they did a great job, and I'm happy to see it come to life. So, you know, I would say for people who are worried, don't let it stop you from sharing. Certainly let it keep you open to sharing with trusted peers. And don't sweat it. If you see one of your synopses out there in film, make another one. It's okay. There are a ton of ideas. Keep going.
Sure, and you know, all these ideas are like in a zeitgeist, and it seems like some are more timely than others. And it's just kind of interesting how, you know, a lot of stuff that's similar comes up around the same time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they could have been working on that movie for like 10 years, for all I know. I'm sure like 3 other filmmakers in LA were like, I also had that idea. So it's good. I'm glad to see people are coming up with good ideas and making them into a reality. So I just hope that I can come up with the next fun, twisted, creepy thriller like that.
Yeah, I think I was hearing that even when the writer of The Exorcist was still alive, that he would call William Friedkin and say, I just wish that one scene, I wish I could have changed it. This was years later. Yeah. And I think that no one's ever, you know, totally satisfied, and there's always more to do. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite sayings, not mine, but an artist's work is never completed, only abandoned. I mean, that's absolutely the truth. When can you ever walk away from something you've poured your heart, your love into? When can it ever be done to your forever liking? It can never be done to your forever liking. But, you know, maybe one day you need to sell that beautiful creation, and you need to go ahead and slap the "it's done" sticker on it and move it off to the distribution line and look on to the next one.